Hey, welcome to Chasen Flavor.
Chasen Flavor, I'm Chase. Today we're going to do ribeye steaks in the sous vide with a hard sear and a cast iron skillet with a side of sausage stuffed mushrooms. So let's get to it. Alright, and here we go. We got the ribeyes right here. These are USDA choice ribeyes that we picked up from Costco. There's some real thick boy steaks, about 2 inches thick. Very nice ribeye, definitely my favorite cut right there. It's the most flavorful to me. It's got all the fat in there. You got this beautiful spinalis right here, what they call the ribeye cap. That's where it's so tender, it's so delicious. That's my favorite right there. Today we're doing a simple seasoning, my favorite seasoning, my fiance's favorite seasoning. We're just going with some garlic powder right there. We're gonna hit it with a little S&P as well. With big steaks like this, you don't want to skimp on the seasoning, so you season from high, get a good even layer of seasoning, but you want to be a little heavy with it, right? You want to taste it, right? Since this is going in the sous vide, we're gonna be cooking it in the bath there, and then we're gonna take it out. We're gonna dry it off. That way we can get a really nice sear on there. So when you dry it off, you're gonna lose a little bit of that seasoning. So it doesn't hurt to go a little bit heavy right now. Hit it with this garlic powder right here. So the sous vide technique, I learned about that actually from a YouTuber. His name's Guga. He has 2 channels. He has Guga Food and he has Sous Vide Everything. And I was just like, wow, this is a really interesting technique. I mean, you're just cooking in a water bath, and it cooks it to the perfect temperature, and it holds it at that temperature. So I'm like, well, of course, this seems like a great idea, right? So I had to try it myself. Found a sous vide machine for a really good deal. Haven't looked back since. All right. Get a little garlic powder on there. With thick steaks like this, we gotta make sure we get all the sides. That includes the edge right there, especially that fat cap edge. You wanna season that fat, because that is flavor right there. Fat is flavor. Get this edge, a little pepper on there. All right, and finally the garlic powder. Fantastic, garlic powder right there. We'll get the seasonings out of the way. Move this to the side, and now we've got the vacuum seal machine. There's a lot of different ways to do sous vide. I prefer to use the vacuum seal method. All right, so open it up. I've already got the bags pre-made right here. Little trick, you want to fold back the edges. That keeps that edge clean. That way you always get a good clean seal whenever you go to seal the meat in there. So let's open it up. Steak number 1 goes in. Big steak, big steak. All right. Kind of position it down in there. Boom, out of the way. Next steak, in we go. All right, good thing there. Let's get the board out of the way. All right, let's go ahead and adjust these bags so we can get them sealed up. I always like to adjust the meat in there. Just get it further down, because you're always going to have a little bit of juices that come loose from the meat, and the juices could interfere with that seal, and we don't want that. We don't want those juices interfering with the seal. We don't want the bag to pop while you're cooking it in the sous vide, because that could mess up your machine. And I mean, these machines can run hundreds of dollars, so let's go ahead and get it in there. We're going to double seal it too, so we're going to seal it the first time with the vacuum. See right there. All right, now it's sealing the first time. We're gonna let that finish, and then we're gonna move it down. We're just gonna heat seal it one more time, double sealed, double protected for our machine. Gonna make sure that steak stays nice. We don't wanna boil the steak. We wanna just cook it in a hot water bath. All right, so that's done with one right there. Let's go ahead and get that second seal on there. Go ahead and just a basic seal on it. So these are going to go in the bath. We're going to do it at 137 for 2 hours. That is done, double sealed, fantastic. All right, vacuum seal this guy. Perfect, perfect. See, good double seal on that one there. That's just protecting the machine, that's protecting the meat, that's protecting everything, so that way we can get a good cook on this. All All right, and that's done there. Just got one more seal to go. I'll take care of that in just a minute, and then we'll see you over at the bath. All right, and here we are. We're over at the sous vide water bath. We got that perfect temperature, that 137. That's that desired temperature. That's going to help render all that beautiful fat that we see in there. It's going to get it to that perfect, tender, moist steak that we're wanting. That way when we pull it out, we can pat it dry, get it seared off in that scalding hot cast iron. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put them in. These are some thick boy steaks, so we're going to do it for 2 hours right now. So we'll go ahead and put the first one in. All right, now we got the second one. All right, so those will be down in there. We want to keep them submerged, that way they continue to cook. We don't want any of that meat coming out and possibly not getting cooked. So I use a mason jar. These are designed for hot water baths already, so I know it's not going to break or anything. That'll just hold that meat down for the entire 2 hours. Great part about using a sous vide is 137, it's going to stay there the entire time. No matter if I forget about it, come back in 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, it's still 137 degrees, the perfect temperature in there. All right, and here we are making the side dish tonight. We're going to have sausage stuffed mushrooms. So I've already done some of the mushrooms here. I'm just going to show you how we get these ready. These are stuffing mushrooms that we buy from the grocery store. So you just take the stem out. We're going to go around. Just going to take all the little bit off right there. Just kind of open it up because we're going to want to get a lot of stuffing down into these bad boys. That's a lot of the flavor there. So clean them out. I like to clean it a little bit more than most. Just get all those little gills out of there. Some people like that flavor. I mean, it's a little bit more earthy flavor there. Not a fan of that myself personally, so we'll get it all out there. Pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be eaten right, you know. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, we'll do the second one here. And just real quick, I mean, it's real simple. Just use a little spoon to do it. You don't need a special tool or anything like that. Just knock this right out. All right. I think we got that one pretty well cleaned out. Go ahead and dump it out. Then this is the same container that the mushrooms came in. I just use that for the trash right there. Now you can use all this stuff, you know, in other fillings if you want to. I don't use it, so we're just gonna throw it away. We'll get that out of the way. Perfect, those are ready. Now let's make that stuffing. We got 1/2 pound of breakfast sausage already browned up right there. 4 ounces of softened cream cheese. We want to soften that way it mix pretty easily. Dump that in, cool. Come right over here, just some regular old mozzarella. Get that in there. Just a little handful. Don't have to measure it. No measurements needed here. It's all about flavor. A little Parmesan. Good pinch. Cool. And then we're gonna add it. We're gonna kick it up a little bit. We got some paprika right here. Just a little bit of extra flavor in there. Just a few shakes. Boom. That's it. Now we mix it up. I'm just gonna use a fork to mix it. Don't need a special tool again. Mix it all up. All right. Cream cheese, like I said, softened. See how it's easily breaking apart for me? That's what you want. Cream cheese when it's cold, man, that's not going to mix for you at all. We don't want that. All right. We got it pretty well mixed there. Not perfect yet, but pretty well mixed. I'm just going to show you how to make one of these mushrooms, and then I'm going to finish mixing it. We're going to finish making these mushrooms, but just take your spoon there. I'm going to get a little bit of it all. And just put it right on there. Just keep it on. Boom. That's going to go in an oven at 350 for 20 minutes. It's going to be delicious. All right, and here we are over at the cooktop. I've got my Lodge 12-inch cast iron right here. This has been preheating on low to medium heat for probably about 20 minutes now. It's good and hot in there. I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to medium high right now. Got a little bit of oil. Right now I'm just using some vegetable oil. Otherwise I'd use like avocado or canola, something with a nice high smoke point. Don't need a whole lot. Just a good little bit in there. We're going to let that coat the bottom. That's going to come up to temp there. Go ahead and just swirl it around a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to put these beautiful ribeyes down in there. Now the ribeyes I've already pulled out of the bath. They're off to the side over here. We've already pat them dry. We want them as dry as can be on the outside. That way we get a nice hard sear on the outside. We want that crust. We want that color. Color is flavor. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and put them down in there. First one going down. And already we got a little bit of that applause action is what they call it, right? The sound of it searing. We're going to go down. Big steaks. You see they barely fit in the 12-inch right there. So we're going to let those go for just a couple minutes aside. Basically want to let them go until the meat releases on its own. You don't really want to pull it up because if you pull it up, you're leaving all the flavor, all the crust down inside the pan there. All right, so just a couple minutes later, here we are. We're getting ready to do the flip right here, and we're just gonna flip one time because we're just searing it. We've already cooked the steaks, we just need to sear them now. So there you go, there's that beautiful crust that we're looking for. Go ahead and check this one. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Beautiful, you can see how it's nice and dark. Got really good pieces of crust there. Those few spots where it's not seared, the steak's not flat, so it's not gonna get a perfect sear all the way across. So we're going ahead and we're gonna sear up the other side now. And then I always take a little bit of time right at the end. I'm going to stand them up on their edge and sear that fat cap on each side there. Each one's going to get a sear just long enough to just kind of melt that fat just a little bit more and get a little crust on it. But we're going to finish this up. We're going to sear that side. We're going to get the edges, and then we'll see you at the final product. Alrighty. And here we go. Those beautiful ribeyes. Look at that absolutely beautiful crust that we have right there. So we got a beautiful crust on that second side. Put that hot pan back there, and we're gonna do it up right. We're gonna finish it with a nice compound butter that I made right here. This is a garlic butter, real simple. Made that up earlier in the day. And we're just gonna put that right on top. Oh yeah, that's gonna be beautiful. That's gonna melt right down there. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. And we can't forget our wonderful side dish tonight. Let me go ahead and grab a couple of those bad boys. All right. Fat boy mushroom right there. Got one more coming in. Another fat boy mushroom. Oh man, it's gonna be so delicious. And the finishing touches right there, the Maldon sea salt. We can't forget that. Just gonna sprinkle just a little bit, just for some flavor right there. And that's it. That's dinner right there. 2 beautiful ribeyes with sausage stuffed mushrooms.